Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This is your boy, Brother Shem Allah. Back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right, like I said, today's lesson is going to be called, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. All right, and this comes from this is the article that I found. It's from TechSpot. It says, magician gets locked out of his C-hip implanted in his hand after forgetting the password. All right, it says a Missouri magician and molecular biologist found himself confronting the limits of modern biohacking after locking himself out of technology inside his own body. Z Ting Wong, who performs under the stage name Z, the Mentalist, recently shared his experience posting an X-ray image on Facebook revealing the RFID C-hip he had embedded between his thumb and index finger several years ago. It says the experiment began as quickly as a quirky fusion performance art and technological curiosity. It says the C-hip was intended to serve as a prop for interactive magic tricks, activating routines when a smartphone with a compatible reader was pressed to Z's hand. It says the RFID C-hip, typically consisting of a small C-hip and antenna encased in a biocompatible glass, are powered wirelessly by external readers, and they can store a modest amount of data. In this case, the C-hip was programmed to trigger digital events, initially part of Z's stagecraft, but later repurposed for technical experiments. It says Z soon discovered the constraints of his scheme, the physical act of guiding audience members to fumble with their smartphones, searching for the correct spot to trigger the reader, proved logistically awkward. Many devices shipped with the RFID reader disabled by default or have trouble consistently detecting the C-hip through skin. As a result, the illusion lost its mystique and technical ability. All right, and you see it. This is X-ray. It says, undeterred, Z experimented further, overriding the C-hip to encode a Bitcoin address, and later in Imgur meme link. However, when the image host changed its URLs, the C-hip's new function was rendered inert. It says the real setback emerged during efforts to reprogram the C-hip. Z realized he had forgotten the password required to rewrite its data. Modern RFID and NFC chips often allow users to set write protections or passwords to prevent unauthorized modification, but once forgotten, these credentials can make the data in a device nearly impossible to access or update. Unlocking the C-hip will require running through every possible password combination via a brute force approach, potentially a process for days or weeks. With an RFID reader, constantly affixed to his hand. Unlike typical consumer gadgets, implantable C-hips pose unique recovery challenges. Failed password attempts can permanently lock the device with little possibility of reset. It says Z's predicament echoes the cautionary tales of the DIY biohackers. In 2018, a journalist who implanted an NFC C-hip encountered similar obstacles after misplacing his access code, later describing himself as a useless cyborg. The lesson for enthusiasts is clear. Technical novelty must be weighed against usability, and forgetfulness can become a lifelong barrier when technology is placed beneath the skin. All right. But you see, all right, this technology, all right, it's here. All right. And you see, he forgot his password. All right. But what more when you don't do what these elites, say to do, right? How much more will they lock your stuff? And we've seen videos. I believe I've done videos about that, where you had the one lady who she had got it a few years ago, and she starts speaking against it. And what did they do? She had it attached to her car, to her to unlock her doors and her house, her financial stuff. And what did they do? They shut it off on her because she was speaking too much. All right, and she was coming up against it. So what did they do? They silenced her by what? Cutting her stuff off, man. So this guy was using it as a little tool for his little magician thing. All right, but what more? All right, when you don't go the ways that the elites ask. All right, that's what you see going on. Okay, but they've been talking about this. All right, the brothers GMS, have been talking about this for a while. All right, this technology is here, and it's coming. All right, and all you folks who say otherwise and say that it's everything else is spiritual, it's all these other different things, man. All right, and the technology is here. It just has to be implemented. All right, and of course they're going to do it. They're going to start like they start everything else. It's going to be a convenience to people. All right, this is going to be something that'll They're not going to tell you the mishaps and the like, hey, you forgot your password. Now you just got this thing just emitting in your skin, and now it's useless. All right, they're not going to tell you, let's get this real quick. They're not going to tell you, by taking it. The scriptures tell you that you're going to get C answer from it, right? This is Revelation chapter 16, verse 2. It says, "And the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship the image." All right, and we know that mark. All right, let's get that. We can get it here, and then we'll get it in the other spot too. All right, we're going to continue to go over this. All right, it's charagma.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Right, charagma. Right, a stamp, imprinted mark. Says mark branded upon thing, carved, sculptured, graven image. So it's a physical thing. All right, and we see what it is. All right, you saw he used it as for his magic trick. Then he used it to store data and Bitcoin and stuff, information like that. All right, but then what happens? He forgot the password. Now he's locked out of it. He can't change it. All right, but this is what's going to be happening, right? This is a physical thing. All right, and in Revelation 16:2, it says, "And the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship the image." All right, and we go to that word, sore. Okay, and it's helkios.
Strong's G 1668. Helkos. Helkos.
Right, helkos. right? It says a wound, especially a wound producing a discharge or pus. All right, this thing is going to produce, it's a physical thing. All right, and this physical thing is going to cause those who take it to have a wound that is producing a discharge. All right, a sore, an ulcer is what it says. All right, so understand, hey, this is coming. Okay, and like I say, you go up against this stuff. What are they doing? They're gonna just they can shut you off. All right, they want full control over you, man. Right? These top elites, these banking families, they want the, like I say, I've been saying, the money is not good enough. All right, it's the control, the control factor. All right, the God complex. All right, they want to be like the Most High, like the scriptures say. All right, this is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay? And that's what you see. All right? You know, hey, it's here. All right? It has to be implemented. Okay? And they're taking their time because they want to make sure that this thing runs smooth. They've been doing tests all the time, man. Different things, all right, to test out, their ultimate creation, all right, that they wanna put upon people, all right, to control, all right, the masses, all right. And of course we'll go into this one, all right, just in case there's some simple people. That's the same mark, all right. That is that one, which is charagma, all right. Thing, carved, sculptured, graven image, okay. And we know that root word is karax, all right, which is a pale or a stake, a palisade, all right. And when you have a pale or stake, you drive it into what? Into the ground, all right. So it digs in. That's what is going to happen. I've done lessons on you have the video of, you show them, injecting that into you, okay. So, hey, the technology is here, all right. We're waiting on the time for it to be fulfilled. Okay. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. It says, and Yahawah Bahasham answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right. It's not gonna, it has its time. All right. And we see it's drawing nigh and nigh. All right. They're getting everything together. All right. They're trying to get the medical records digitalized, so all that stuff can be all digital. All right. They're getting rid of the money, the cash, right? Starting with the penny. All right. And soon everything else is going to go. All right. Because they want the money to be digital. All right. They want, they got the digital IDs. All this stuff is all coming into one thing, which is going to be that RFID chip. All right. Which is going to be all in one. All right. That way, what? They can control everything, even you. All right. And your whereabouts. All right. They don't know where you're at, what you did, where you spent your money. Right. And if you act up, guess what? They'll just cut you off. All right, shut it down. All right, now you'll be without. Okay, so hey, it's coming. All right, it's coming. You wait for it. All right, the scriptures tell you, 2 Ezra 15. All right, behold the words. I'm just paraphrasing of these books. They're faithful and true. All right, they're gonna happen. All right, this is a book of prophecies. Prophecies is to tell before it happens. All right. And this has been written long ago. All right. And we see it in the midst of taking place right now. All right. So, this is why we continue to go over this, because this is one of the major prophecies, all right, that need to be fulfilled. All right. And it's right at the door. All right. There's people, who've been taking it, who've had it, but ultimately it has to be mandatory implemented, all right? That people are going to be forced to take it, okay? At the end of the day, and that's coming soon, man. All right? They're just getting all their ducks in a row, okay? They've been rehearsing this stuff for a while, all right? So that when they do it, right, they're gonna push it out in full force, okay? So I just want to do this quick lesson. Lord's will, this was edifying. All right, with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, a mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect in the household of faith, man. Stay diligent, stay focused, all right? And stay patient and wait on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? And he will come through, at the end. All right, be patient. All right, don't put your trust in men, as the scriptures say, but put your trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, and with that we say a ball, and shalom.